it's a red flag.
Long story short, I have an uncle who I found out is the exact type of nigga that I would criticize on my channel. Like, he owns like 75 houses. He took them all from old black grandmas and sold them to white people. It's just like really just kind of like, oh, this is like hyper capitalist as hell. And I didn't know this is in my blood like that. And he don't got no kids. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave you all my house. I'm like,
because that's the thing that we've talked about and have not had a good, because I feel like I haven't gotten a good answer and I would love to get more clarity. I don't think it'll happen all in one conversation, but I feel like there's this undercurrent of, fuck capitalism, but I've never fully got a good grasp of what some people mean when they say that, because
people mean different things.
People mean different things. Yeah. And they're not talking about anti-private property, because it's like, it'll be people who are like, fuck capitalism, but it's like, but so, exactly. So I'm like, what are we all talking about? Because some people are like, you're saying fuck capitalism, but you own your home and you do have private property and maybe you make a lot of money. You're not a billionaire, but maybe you're a millionaire and you're still saying fuck capitalism. No, so I'm like, what are we talking about? So maybe let me reduce the question down. What do you mean?
So for me, you have like anarchists, shout out to Andrewism, who don't believe in private property. George Jackson, really influential black leftist, didn't believe in private property. So there's like a lot of that there, right? And then there's, more moderate, more socialist, communist leaning people who like private property and all these things are not going to go anywhere. And you can't really have an organized, civilized society without some hierarchical like forces. We just got to make sure those forces are not easily subsumed into capitalistic interests, which is like, I don't know if y'all talked about Luigi yet.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. That's like, late capital. The healthcare system in America is like a perfect distillation.
What's being called late stage capitalism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of there. For me in particular, I do believe that being a landlord should not be a job. Like, I don't think you should be able to make money off of owning places where people have to live. Right. Housing and things like that should be a human right. And there should be systems in which we could figure it out. I don't know the perfect system, but when I see like landlord influencers, like watch me, like Mr. B style, watch me go evict 3 people this week. Like that shit is wild. Real quick, and then the family member I'm talking about, like I witnessed a conversation of him talking to like real estate lawyers about how he's going to get this family that just lost their mother to sell their house to him so he can sell it to them. And it was just scummy. It was so scummy.
You can just see the evil in it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so like basically for me, it gets to like, where's the exploitation stemming from? And so if I can point a very simple straight line to the exploitation, I don't really want no parts of it. I don't think no exploitation is possible in any type of organized society. I'm not an anarchist, although I'm empathetic and like I understand why. I didn't have a good view of anarchism some years ago, but I've had people educate me really well, and I get it.
Okay.
But yeah, so when people talk about capitalism in public and online, they could be talking about a bunch of shit. Like people mad at me for having a house. People mad at Hassan for having a house, and low key, my house and Hassan's house are on the same level. He just lives in California. Like Hassan do not live in a big, ridiculous mansion, Well,
that's what I'm trying to figure out. So, okay.
How are niggas mad about a man having a house?
Well, because there is the champagne socialist thing, right? Which is if you talk this left-wing shit a lot, it does look away if you're living in like extensive luxury.
It look a little crazy. It look a little crazy.
I wasn't mad about her. When Hassan bought the house, I was first off brand new. I didn't know who Hassan was, and I was like, whatever. When he bought the Porsche like a year later, I was like, Hassan, you is kind of testing niggas' limits.
But what is the limit? Because we've talked about this before. We had a topic where we were like, is it wrong? Because I'm just trying to take shit to its logical conclusion. I'm trying to take the things that you said and go, okay, well, what happens if we apply that? If I go, hey, look, I've bought my first home, and the idea is that this home that I do live in, I'm not buying 20 different properties, but let's say I buy the first home and I go, this is meant to be an investment, the way all assets are. If I buy gold or if I buy a watch or whatever to help me retire and live life, because that's what we all want to do. We all want to eventually be able to retire. You buy a home and you go, all right, Now I want to rent it out so I can live off that income. Is that straight away now we're going into unethical territory, or is there some gray or what?
So the
I'm
thing
just like you just your opinion.
Me personally, I never plan on renting to anyone. That's not a family member. Like I may buy a second home to hold for like that, like family should have land type shit. Nigga, somebody on the run. We can put a farm in the backyard.
Yeah.
Like I may do that one day if I get enough.
Give
money.
It down to kids. Yeah.
Give it down to kids, etc. And I think that's really reasonable. I personally can never see myself renting a home to people I don't know for the sake of getting profit from that. However, the reality situation, especially right now, is that like we need motherfuckers that like can give access to homes to regular people, especially in Atlanta. Atlanta has like one of the worst renter situations in the country because we allowed 2 or 3 corporations to buy up like 30% of the empty houses.
I think there's laws around that. Yeah.
Right. And so it's kind of like, I think it's good to get away from, especially in the post-election Project 2025 era. I personally am getting away from the ethically perfect image of being a leftist. Because at the end of the day, so much of it is subjective and all of it is useful compared to where we are now. You know what I'm saying? And so like at a minimum, I'm not about to fight anybody over like relatively reasonable moves they make to preserve themselves or further their own careers or needs. If you are like a hardcore communist influencer and I found out you own 3 properties for like, and you're renting them out, I may clown you a little bit. I may side eye you a little bit, but I'm also not going to be looking for that contradiction. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing a lot of direct harm, then that's
I understand people don't live in the world that they would like the world to be. So but if you own 3, it's like you could have got a job. You could have just done just to stand on business. You could have just not done that.
You could have done something different.
Josh, though,
let me
approach
it from a different angle.
Thank you. Yes.
Because I feel what you're saying, especially when you are, it's basically because if you are a person that's like engaging in this leftist, like, oh, fuck capitalism, but yo, I got 2 Porsches, you know what I'm saying, 3 big ass cribs. I'm renting these bitches out, making money hand over fist. But I think like one thing you should also look at is that person actually giving back? Like how much he's actually doing for the community and then the people that he's serving. If he is doing, or if they are doing a really good job at that, I could give a damn what you do with your own money as long as you actually are putting your money where your mouth is. Like, have a nice ass house shit. Everybody like nice shit. Why can't I have something nice for myself just because I'm calling out, the propaganda?
Yeah, I don't overall disagree. That's why I fucks with Hassan. Like I don't overall disagree with that. I just think you turning up the difficulty level in a way that is not necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like if you like, so Hassan is living rich white boy life, and like, cool, we there. If I find out Hassan has 5 rental properties, I may have to make a Hassan video.
Okay, what about 2? What about 2? Is 2 crazy? Because my dad had like 2 Section 8 properties, and I don't know. Yeah, which I don't know if that makes him extra. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
Section 8.
We weren't living great, but
no, it depends on the situation. I mean, like, so is he a left-wing influencer though? It's the combination that
he wasn't. Yeah,
for me.
I think he might have voted Reagan. Honestly,
there you go. See, if you're a left-wing influencer, if like the way you make your money is by critiquing a system, it's one thing to everybody participating in capitalism, and you can critique and participate in capitalism at the same time. I'm never gonna say that. If you are like what's the word? Mini-maxing. I don't know what the term is. It's a video game term where it's like I'm mastering this.
Oh, min-maxing or something like that. Yeah.
It's like something like a word like min-maxing for like RPGs. If you're min-maxing capitalism on the side of like critiquing it, then I'm like, that's just hypocritical. Like you can't, like if my brother owns property, I'm not about to beat up my brother about the property he owns. I'm not about to bait this nigga when he come here for Christmas about that shit. You know what I'm saying? But if my brother started like doing left-wing streams, reading Marx and Engels to motherfuckers, and I know this nigga got 3 rental properties, I'm like, nigga, can you just own your properties? You fucking up the program.
So one of the things that seems like one of those, so like with the Luigi shit, which we could talk more in the main one, or I want to talk about it here as well, is like, and I think I was pleasantly surprised at this because the Luigi shit, like everybody got on. I was having a conversation about this the other day. Everybody got on program in a way that I'm like, oh, this is the shit they don't want to happen.
Yeah.
Because right-leaning niggas, left-leaning niggas, middle of the road, everybody was like, yeah, fuck that nigga who died. Like, we do not give a fuck. Like, free my nigga Luigi.
Hey, my children be watching too if I was in the hospital.
Yeah. Damn. But it's all out of network. Like,
right.
he was very, very galvanizing across the line in a way that I think, like, I feel like it kind of squares that circle of what Trump is doing to an extent, which is like populist, kind of populist, galvanizing people who are workers in a way that the left counterintuitively has struggled to fucking do because of a whole host of what I think are very dumb ways of engaging with people. But in this situation, I'm like, Luigi's also like comes from money. So I'm looking at that and going, one of the pleasant things that I think that it emphasizes is like, there is a difference between having private property and making your money from capital exclusively. There is a difference between being a millionaire and being who is a worker, and a billionaire who makes their money off of purely exploiting the labor that other people produce. Like, those are different things. So like, you can be a middle class, you can be an upper middle class worker who makes all of your job as a worker. You're a doctor, you're an actor, you're a sculptor, whatever, and you make $2 million a year. And that's different than being someone who has 100 employees under them or whatever. So I'm just wondering.
Bullshit that I was looking at.
Oh yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I guess I don't care that much about hypocrisy so much as figuring out what should we be aiming in the direction of. And if it's like, yeah, okay, millionaires are fine. Owning up one house, two houses, cool. Once a corporation starts buying up 4 or 5 to where regular people can't use it as a way to bolster their life, then that's where I start to have an issue. But I feel like, yeah, if you own 2, but I feel like there should be a limitation, and there should be limits on, like, your first home can't be an investment property. It has to be a home that you live in. Little things like that, I feel like, are where I'm at. Maybe I'm a moderate. I know niggas go say I'm a centrist or whatever, but that's where I let.
I mean, and I think even so, I don't have really any issue with anything you just said overall. And the big thing I'm about recently is we let the nerds control too much of the online left's oeuvre and aesthetics for the last, half decade or so. It's a bunch of bearded, basement dwelling, white men, for the most part, arguing with each other about what the left is. And that kind of set the tone for so much of the left's engagement with regular people. And regular people don't respond well to that energy or aesthetic. And the fact that we have those types of arguments and debates about how many houses you should own when nobody owns a house, you know what I'm saying? It's like really kind of like emblematic of a lot of the things you talked about, like the failures and the way the left has engaged with people. It's emblematic of that. I am not going to be made, I could go all day on, like.
I mean, I feel like you, because I'm very happy for us to currently be on the periphery of this shit, because this shit seems stressful. So just